My name is Michelle Kholos Brooks, and I am the playwright of Room 1214. So Room 1214 is based on the shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. Everybody here, especially in Florida, probably knows that shooting took place in 2018 on Valentine's Day. I've always been concerned about gun violence, especially gun violence in schools, and I always wanted to find a way to talk about it. But it's a hard thing to talk about because the world of it is already so absurd. But I was very fortunate in researching another project. I met Ivy Seamus, who was a teacher at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, and her classroom was shot into, and 2 of the kids in her classroom were killed, and a couple of others were injured, and thank God they lived. But Ivy is this extraordinary person, such a life force, and with such a message of hope, and somebody who had managed to also keep some of her sense of humor. And I asked her if she would let me interview her to see if I could develop a play around her. And she said, you know, I wish you would, because nobody really talks about the teachers. And so I got to talk to her, I got to hear her language, I got to hear her humor, got to hear what happened in her classroom. And so I wanted to create a world where she comes back to teach in that classroom, to visit that classroom, to talk about what happened, but to also teach us as a teacher about what we can do for it not to happen anymore. So there's meant to be hope in it. I didn't know, I had never heard the story until I talked to Ivy, that she was teaching a Holocaust history class at the time. And the kids were literally doing reports on hate crimes when this kid with swastikas etched into his bullets and into his boots shot into her classroom. I believe it was a coincidence. He shot into other classrooms as well. But, you know, it's about the nature of hate. It's about the nature of memory and how do we learn from history to be able to go forward, and this intersection of gun violence, hate, anti-Semitism, but also hate in general. So it was a tall order, but you know, again, I would say it is meant to be, there's meant to be a message of hope and to give us some tools to be able to move into a world where kids don't get shot in school. That's the goal.